Hi everyone, welcome to All About You. Today I'm here together with Anna. How are you,
Hello,
Anna?
very good.
We're so happy to be here today
Yes.
because today we are going to talk about love life. And more specifically, we're going to help the single ladies who wants to have a commitment, who wants to find Mr. Right, who want to get married, to be happy, right? There are many women searching for and praying for Mr. Right, isn't it, Anna?
Yes, they are dreaming with their Prince Charming. They wanna know who will be the person they will spend their life with.
And have someone who will actually make them happy. There are many women who are in search for having someone who is going to complete them, is going to add to their lives, someone who is going to make them special, someone who is going to make them happy. But as we have learned, isn't it, Anna?
Yes.
What is it that we have learned?
Well, we learned, I believe many of you or most of you, you already know that when we get married, it's not about us being happy only, but first we make that person happy. We can't think I will get married and then that person will make me happy. No, I'm getting married because I will make that person happy. But the question is, are you happy right now? Because many people they think I am not completely happy right now, but when I find the person I will be happy, and then we are gonna work on in our relationship, we are gonna date, and then we are getting married. By the time we get married, I'm happy.
And then
And
I'll
then
be
I
able
will
to.
make yes, then I will make that person happy. But that's so wrong because we have to have this happiness inside of
Yeah.
us regardless if we have someone or not.
It's true because you can even become so vulnerable to be deceived as well when you have this lack inside of you, when you have this hole that you think that only Mr. Right is going to fill it for you and you're going to finally be happy. If you find yourself someone frustrated, someone that is always down and that you don't have that happiness inside of you, then you're going to be searching and thirst to have someone to fill that void for you. And that's when many women are deceived, isn't it, Anna?
Yes, with words, the devil sends the
Even in church, right?
yes, because the devil knows, isn't it? So that something is lacking there. So the devil sends the Mr. Wrong with the sweet
true.
words to deceive.
Yeah.
And the words that these men they use, it's like comfort in a way. It's like, oh, that's so nice.
Yeah, it makes you feel the most beautiful, amazing woman of the world. And then when they do that, you fail to see the character, you fail to see everything else but the sweet words that you hear from them, from him, right? But that's the thing, as you were saying before, these voids cannot be fulfilled by man. This void is meant to be filled by God. So maybe you had this void fulfilled, but with time, as you started being worried, as you started allowing, like last week, right, you spoke about anxiety. You started allowing anxiety to take over you little by little. You started taking the place of God from there, filling you, fulfilling you, and you're thinking, no, I need someone else to fill that void for me now. And this is really, really dangerous. So the very first thing that you need to do in order for you to even being able to find Mr. Right, you need to work inside of you in the very first relationship that we need to invest on, which is our spiritual life, our relationship with God. If you're not well with God, if you don't allow God to fill your void, you are going to have that need to be filled by somebody else.
Yes, and thinking about it, about our relationship with God, we see that nowadays a lot of marriages they are falling apart. But why they are falling apart? Because the foundation is not there. The foundation is our spiritual life. The foundation is our relationship with God. Before me having a relationship with my husband, I needed to have a relationship with God so my relationship with my husband can succeed.
It's true. And then usually what happens when we are in a relationship, not just with the husband, in future you're going to deal with it,
Yes.
but our relationship with people as well, is that our tendency is always to look at their mistakes, is to look at how they speak to you, how they deal with you, what they do to you, but you fail to see yourself. You fail to see where you need to work on in order for that relationship to work. Because God has chosen us. Actually, He has created us for a very special purpose. We're not just one more being created there. We are, when it comes to importance, we are the same as our future husband, for you, or your future husband to their husband. We are the same as men. We it's true, we have the same value before God, but we have different roles. Men had already been created, so when we were created, we were designed by God. And you're not just the partner of your husband. Before you being a partner of your husband, you are partnered with God, because together you are the ones who are going to build the house. This is why He said, isn't it, about the wife, like the wise woman builds her house. And when He talks to building a house, when we talk about it in the physical world, even though there are many women who adventure themselves to want to build things and to work with those constructions and heavy things, these are things that were not actually designed for us because of our physical structure, right? We're not as strong as men when it comes to building. But when it comes to the house, when it comes to the home, God has entrusted this responsibility to us because He had made us that strong. And many times we have used this strength in the wrong way. And before using this strength in the wrong way in the relationship with their husbands, we also use this strength in the wrong way with our relationships, as you are right now, maybe with your parents, your mom, your family members, your friends, isn't it?
Yes. So the first relationship, we are learning that we have to invest in our relationship with God.
Yes.
And there comes the other relationships that we are gonna mention. That for you to see if you are ready to enter a relationship with someone that you will spend your life with, you have to see yourself
how you are now,
how you deal with relationship with others, with those who are around you. Yes, right now. In your home, how you deal. If you live with your parents, how you deal with them. If your mother asks you to do something that maybe you don't wanna do, how you deal with it. Do you just say, no, I'm not doing it, and then you stop talking to her because she will be upset with you? You just ignore the fact that you can't be like that. This is a sign, because this is what many do. They ignore some facts that is there. But they said, no, this is nothing, it's just my mother.
Yeah, and then the way you deal with her, like for example, if she points out things that you did that were wrong, if we rebukes you because you didn't do certain things. So when you are upset with your mom and you make a long face, or you go to your room, or you don't want to talk to her, you want to avoid her, is this actually going to help your relationship with her to get better? Or if you want something from your mom, you want her attention, you want her love, you want the relationship to work, or even to have a favor, right? To have something from her, like we want to have a good relationship, we want things to work. How would you have the courage to ask for anything if the way you deal with her is wrong? If you want a favor, if you want to have a yes from her, of course you need to be willing to do what it takes. You need to be respectful. You need to be helpful as well. You want her help, but are you being helpful? It's so easy for us to want something back from them, but what are you giving, isn't it?
Exactly. At home, when you are at home, what do you do? Do you see the house as your mother's house, or you also see the house as your house? You help, you take the time, you see this as something important. Helping at home with the cleaning, cooking, washing, ironing, because this is what you are gonna do after marriage.
It's true.
You are gonna be a housewife. Maybe yes, you will work outside, you will have your profession, but you will still be a housewife. But are you applying this now? Are you taking the advantage to learn from your mother or from those who can teach you, or you just see it as something that it's not important right now? Because many, they think this way, oh, this is not important right now.
Yes, and many people don't want to do that because they don't like it. They don't see that as something important. It's not that sometimes they don't have the time, because they probably could make the time to do it, to help, but they don't want to be there. They don't want to do it because they don't value that. And we live in a society where being a housewife or looking after the house, the home, taking care of the husband is something very, it's something that people despise.
Yes.
It's something that people diminish. And people feel ashamed of that because they think it's not important. When I got married, instead of following the example, which kind of example did I follow? I followed the example of the world. Like, I wanted to be in the office. I wanted to work. I wanted to be outside. I wanted to do things because that's how I thought, okay, that's when I'm being respected. That's when I'm being useful. That's when I am being important, right?
You are being counted in a way. And many women, they think this way nowadays. In my case, you see, we are talking about references. We choose the reference we are gonna take with us after marriage. Maybe you are having a good reference now, but you are gonna choose if you are taking this reference with you or not. Or maybe you are not having it, but you are learning how you should be. You are learning what you should do. In my case, my mother, my parents, they got divorced. I was very young, so I don't really remember my dad at home, even though after I kept in contact with him. But I used to see my mom being the provider, like always working. We didn't really see her because she was always outside working. So she used to have someone to look after the house, to look after us three. And then when she would come home so tired and distressed after a long day. And I used to see that strength, my mom's strength, like being that woman, like a man in a way. And then I got married, but praise God, I learned so much before getting married. So when I got married, I came with
You
that.
learned God's way.
Yes,
right?
I learned God's way. So I chose to bring that reference. So you see, I had two references, my mom's and what I learned. So I chose to bring what I learned. But you know that you know that I used to see sometimes my mom's reference shouting inside of me. And then that was the time I said, no, I don't want to follow you. I'm going to follow what I learned. So we choose.
Yes, and many times, like for example, I must confess, like I was so bad that in the very first day, like the very first marriage anniversary that we had, my husband was waiting for me and he was like quite late. And when I arrived home from working, and I was thinking that I was there working, So I arrived home and he was dressed, sleeping on the sofa waiting for me. And that's how we ended our very first. I'll never forget. I'm not traumatized, but I learned from my experience that, you see, sometimes the way we think it's right, it's wrong. It may make you feel good or useful because that's what the world shouts at you. But that doesn't make you happy in the relationship, in the marriage. It doesn't bring you closer to your partner. Many people try to avoid sacrificing many things, but they do not understand that these sacrifices, that they are actually what will bring you closer to your partner. And these sacrifices is what is going to bring the answers, the changes that you want so much from your relationship, even from your partner. Sometimes you want them so much to please you. You want them to be there for you, but you don't want to be there for them. You want them to respect you, but you don't want to respect. And our work is like this. That's why I said it's a partnership with God. If you choose to do things God's way and with His help, you are going to get there. You're going to get everything you're aiming for, you want. But if you want to use that strength according to the world, according to the references of the world, you're not going to get it. You're going to lose. Right? There are so many situations that we can talk about, like how you deal with your problems, how you deal with situations, that can, there's so many things to talk about, but you don't have
Yes.
time.
Yes. The
We
thing
have to
that
make another one, right?
Yes, the thing that we want you to take from this program today is be attentive to the signs, isn't
Yes.
it?
Mm-hmm.
Be attentive to the signs, and you will only be able to be attentive to the signs and understand where you need to work on if you invest in a relationship with God,
Mm-hmm.
because then you will be able to see, oh, see, that's true. The way I spoke to my mom, that's not right. The way I spoke to that colleague
Colleague. Mm-hmm.
at work, that was not right. I have to be more tolerant. So be attentive to the signs, because then you can work on these things, and for sure when you get
Yeah.
married, when you are in a relationship, it will
Yeah, we're
succeed.
gonna touch more things
Yes.
that we were not able to. Otherwise, we're gonna keep you here for a long time.
Yes.
But don't worry, we're gonna have part two to talk about the different aspects of things that you need to notice. You need to be able to realize, to recognize. Otherwise, how can you expect God to bless you and to have a blessed marriage if you're not willing to put your part into it? How do you expect to have Mr. Right if you're not Mrs. Right? Okay, so allow God to use this moment, this message to speak to you, analyze yourself, and get ready for your blessing. So I'd like to invite you as well this coming Thursday. Don't miss it. On our love therapy, I'm gonna be there with my husband. I'm gonna give you some tips and advices on how you can have a blessed relationship. See you then, and also here. See you next time.
Yes. See you.
Bye bye. Take care,
Bye bye.
ladies.